Go, Sophia.
Hi, welcome. Welcome to our Communication Studies Spring 2023 Senior Recognition and Master's Hooding Ceremony, what we might cunningly call our commencement. I'm Dr. Suzanne Ink, and I have the distinct honor of serving as the chair of the Department of Communication Studies. Before we move into our program, I'd like to introduce the folks sitting in the front, as I'm guessing many of our visitors have heard their names, hopefully with good stories attached. So we'll go down the road here. We've got Dr. Brian Richardson. Dr. Megan Morrissey. Dr. Justin Trudeau. Dr. Hallie Vaughn. Dr. Mark Lavayache. Dr. Joe McGlynn. Dr. Brian Lane. Dr. Sasha Sater. Dr. Melody Sova. Dr. Aaron O'Connor. And Dr. Karen Anderson-Lane. And just as importantly, I would like to just take a moment to introduce our incredible staff who poured their care into all of our events and daily operations of the department. They're really the ones who keep everything on the tracks. Julie Garcia. And Amy Fuller, who's back in our reception area. They both have done the bulk of the work for this reception. Julie this year has been doing just incredible work at every move. Our student staff who work in our department are generally amazing and have contributed to their many energies to tonight's event. And you've seen many of them here. In particular, I'm thankful for the labor of Ariana Hernandez, Star Tabor, Mary Jane Taylor, Lydia Rios, and Cindy Williams. Our students working in the Comm library have also been helping many of our grads decorate their hats, also helping them graduate. So I'm sure we're especially thankful for them. I would like to really give a shout out to Sophia Rojas, our lead Comm librarian. Pictures, so smile whenever you see her. And no, I have not hired her officially. Macaulay Duck's mom, Cindy Duck, is here live streaming. So if you have anybody at home who would like to follow along the live stream, they can look up Cindy Duck on Facebook, CINDY, and be able to follow along. Greetings to the Duck family. So when I signed off on the offer letter to take on the position of the department chair during spring break in March of 2020, we had just made the hard decision to close campus for the following week and try to reconfigure everything we know how to do as professors. I joked in signing the letter that I was happy to do this, and surely this whole pandemic thing would only be a week or so long, and would be done by the time I started in the fall. Well, the joke was on me, and all of us, and it turned out it was no laughing matter. The students who are graduating here today have gone to school during some of the hardest times in my memory. They've had to learn how to learn completely differently. They've had largely had to learn how to build community in entirely new and different ways. And of course, while these students have been in college, it's felt like the whole world has been turned upside down upon them between ongoing climate change, intersectional forms of violence that touch on the lives of many people in different ways, and unending economic challenges, and the list goes on. And then at whiplash speed, well, after 2 years, we returned to normal, or at least a new normal, and expected that everyone could just move on like nothing happened. But I want to affirm to y'all, our graduates, that something really did happen. And the fact that you're sitting here today, completing this step of your journey, tells us that you've demonstrated tremendous persistence, she's already crying, creativity, and a commitment to finish what you started. And it's that commitment to finishing what you started that we're here to celebrate today. And so with that, I'm going to turn things over to Master Cynthia Oliveros, President. Organization for Graduate Students, or COGS, is going to offer just a few minutes of remarks and see some balloons coming in.
And my family's here. I'm not going to cry, I promise.
We need it! It's so Mexican in us!
My family, I can't see yours, I'm not noticed. Oh my goodness. Hello everybody. Well, if you guys within this department have not known who I am and where I get it from, now you guys know. All right, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. All right. First of all, thank you guys so much for being here. I know that everyone's schedules are busy. My family traveled here from Illinois. We have someone coming from Colorado. Did I get that right? And then I'm not sure where everyone else is from, but this traffic is crazy. So we really appreciate you guys for being here on this special occasion. Whew. The class of 2023 appreciates each and every one of you. And before I get started about our community, I really just want to give a moment to thank you guys, because if it wasn't for our village that is present here, none of the graduates would have made it. And it takes a village. So if we could just give a round of applause. All right. So, as I was saying, it takes a village. And I am a first-generation college graduate student. And on top of that, I am a Mexican-American first-generation college student. And thank you. On behalf of myself in the class of 2023, many of us went through so many obstacles that were visible, invisible, loud, and silent. But we're here and we made it. And it would not have been possible without each and every one of you, and as well as this amazing faculty. Go ahead. All right, so I'm going to talk about a few quotes that I stole from this amazing faculty and a few quotes that I stole from our amazing department. Wherever you are in life, I hope that this inspires you and somehow leaves you with a little dash of inspiration, as I tried to do while I was in this department. Just like I was told at TA orientation, I belong here, and I mattered, and my selection, just like y'all's selection, was for a reason. Wherever you are, be the change that you want to see. Advocate for whatever your heart is telling you to do, because we really need each other. It takes a village. In this time, we need one another. We need the love, we need the support, and most importantly, we need the empathy. Empathy is free, y'all. Please. You don't have to understand the person next to you, but just support them. Things in life are going to be hard, right? And it doesn't matter if that was within academia, it doesn't matter if that was personal, or if you still are going through personal things. Indulge in that hardness. I'm definitely speaking for myself. When I'm in an anxious state of mind, it's not fun. Life is so short, y'all. Have fun, cry, go through those emotions, and just know that it's going to be better, because it always is going to be better no matter what. Roller coasters are meant to create emotions that are so all over the place, whether it's again, that anxiousness, whether it's the thrill, or whether it's something that you don't explain while you're waiting to get on the ride. It's all good. Indulge in that. Enjoy the roller coaster, because roller coasters are temporary, but life is forever. To my community, thank you guys for laughing with me, for screaming with me, for being anxious with me, and for most importantly, pushing me up through those ups and those downs. While being on this roller coaster, I want to take the time to thank this department that I will cherish forever. Entering this program, I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. But once I got here, I was like, okay, we're on this roller coaster, and we're gonna push through it, right? We did it. We did it. We did it. On top of that, like I was saying, I am from Peoria, Illinois. There are a few Midwesterners on this board with me, and although UNT was not my first Texan institution, it was different. I went to the University of Houston, and coming here was a definite change. And I want to talk about my community and the change that you guys have brought to me, and the change that I hope to share on to the graduating class and the class of 2024 and 2023. Starting off with my committee, Dr. Richardson, Dr. Anderson Lane, Dr. McGovern, and honorable mention, Dr. Suzanne E. Each one of you spoke to me in ways that I had no idea, again, that I needed entering this program that I will take with me for forever. Dr. Richardson, you inspired me to be more patient with people, to understand. I mean, that's true. Because everybody is at their own journeys, right? Things aren't going to like automatically click for the next person, and we have to realize that change is painful, change is slow, and Rome was not built overnight. So I appreciate that, Dr. Richardson. I appreciate you for being real with me, for being genuine with me, and for telling me that with a little hard work, a lot of sacrifice, anything can be possible. Dr. McGlenn, thank you so much for answering every single one of my questions. Since day one, whether it was through email or whether if you were in your office, you let me come in, oftentimes unannounced. And as my mom said, no question is a stupid question. So again, thank you so much for allowing me to just ask questions. Dr. Anderson Lane, Karen, thank you for allowing me to be the change that I wanted to see fiercely, unconditionally, and shaking that table, because we need that table to be shaken. So thank you, literally, since day one at orientation, for allowing me to speak for the things that I want to change, and thank you for allowing our climate to be something of equity. Dr. Inc., as many of us can echo these same sentiments, your door is open 24/8, it seems like. No matter how busy your schedule was, I'm sure that I'm speaking on the behalf of 2023 as well. You showed up and showed out for us, and I appreciate you for allowing me to be vulnerable. As a Mexican-American individual, tears were something that was taught to be systemically closed off on, and I really appreciate you for allowing me to be vulnerable, and that being a crybaby is okay, but I'm not going to do that today. Dr. Morsi, thank you for creating the best class that I have ever indulged in my life. I'm sure that many of us in this audience can definitely vouch for that. You created a different village outside of this community. You gave me my Women and Gender Studies neighbor in Elena, and I will cherish this experience for life. Like, we went through the trenches, y'all, and I appreciate it. To Laurita and to Isel, y'all know my personal struggles deeply, and thank you guys for being like mentors to me. Although each one of us is getting our degree or has gotten our degree already at different times, I hope that our friendship stays alive no matter the distance, no matter the country, no matter if we're in space or wherever. I hope that this bond continues, because I really, really cannot thank you guys enough for pushing me to get to this finish line, and for accepting me for me, no matter how I talk, no matter what I look like, no matter what I'm saying. Y'all really just believed in me, and I cannot thank you guys enough. John. We started this together at such an uncertain time in our lives. Just as Dr. Eve said, we did come in here during a new normal. And I'm so proud of you. Thank you for the challenging conversations within class. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for not agreeing with me. As I've always said, we need these dialogues, right, in a healthy, constructive way, because that's what life is about. disagreeing is totally okay. And you pushed me, you poured into me, and I hope that I poured into you just as well. We as a community could not leave you empty-handed, so we got you a little gift for your future generation. It takes a village, and we are so excited that you're allowing our village to grow. So the class of 2023, no matter what roller coasters are ahead of you, I hope you ride the hell out of them. Sorry, Mom. I don't cuss around her. Life is full of emotions. I don't know all the places that you're going to see, what you're going to be. I know we're filled with so much uncertainty right now, but truly, take a moment to reflect on how awesome and how much growth and how much sacrifice and how much it took for you to get to this beautiful moment. We did it. We did it. We're here, and I'm so excited for you guys. With that being said, to the other classes, I hope that I allow you guys to see that change is possible. I hope that y'all create an ongoing community for the future generations, and I am so excited to now be a part of this beautiful department as an alumni, and we did it. Congratulations. And now we're going to have greetings from the president of the Communication Future Pros, from Duck McCulley.
Howdy, howdy, y'all. So, graduates, professors, family of graduates, family pets, service animals, everything in between, and anybody that I neglected to mention. I've been given the distinct honor and privilege to address you all today at this year's committee. To those of you who don't know me, I am Macaulay Duck, and yes, despite my appearance, I am an undergraduate student in our communications program. Over the past 4 years, we've worked tirelessly to complete our degrees in communication studies. Graduates, you should all be genuinely proud of yourselves for the dedication, creativity, and otherwise gumption that you have all shown. Looking out at you all now, I see faces that have been with me for what has felt like a lifetime and merely a few weeks all at the same time. Faces that I've seen in classes, in the halls, studying in libraries, and once in a while on Fry Street. I hope that my words do you justice. Over the course of my education here at UNT, I've been asked a few times what it is that communication studies students do. Frankly, even I couldn't give them a good answer. But our major has the unique advantage of having both amazing breadth and depth of learning opportunities, and each one of our graduates has spent their education engaging with a field of study so diverse that each degree our department gives out backs up a one-of-a-kind individual. So I say to the parents, the grandparents, the aunts and the uncles, the cousins twice removed, your graduate is ready for anything that they will be encountering in life. Don't worry. To the graduates, there are two subsets of you. There are those who will be continuing their education and those who will be moving on to their careers. To those of you continuing your education, it's my knowledge that our communications research program is second to none in the nation. I wish you luck in your academic pursuits. Your thirst for knowledge is both admirable and slightly concerning. To those of you who will begin your careers soon, know that you are entering a world where you can do whatever it is that you aspire to. Please, take advantage of that fact. In the words of Dr. Richardson, accounting majors become accountants. Communications majors become, well, who knows what they'll do. With all this in mind, I look forward to seeing where you all end up. Now, with the knowledge that I am one of the last barriers between the graduates here today and their diplomas, as well as the fact that you all are ready to get on with it, I will end with a few words of hope and advice. In life, there will be forces that act against you. There will be red tape and advisory boards and bureaucracy that will attempt to prevent you from doing the great things that I know you all are capable of. continue to move through life with the same vigor, hopefulness, and determination that you have employed to get this far. And I know beyond a doubt you will all succeed. Thank you all, and again, welcome to the commencement. Now I would like to call to the stage Dr. Mark Kovacic and Gabby Lott.
I'm Dr. Mark Kovacic. I'm an associate professor here in the Department of Communication Studies, and among the things that I do is I advise the Lambda Pi Eta honors organization. Lambda Pi Eta is the National Honor Society for the Communication Discipline. The name Lambda Pi Eta is represented by the Greek letters L for lambda, P for pi, and H for eta. L, P, and H symbolize the three modes of persuasion Aristotle set forth in his famous book on rhetoric. They are logos, which describes appeals made in words, pathos, meaning appeals to and through emotion, and ethos, which translates to character. Lambda Pi Eta was created in the 1980s at the University of Arkansas and has grown to an organization with more than 300 chapters around the world. Each Lambda Pi Eta chapter has its own Greek name. Here at UNT, ours is the U Alpha chapter. And the president is here today as well. That's Gabby Lott. I'd like to thank her for all her hard work this year. Membership in Lambda Pi Eta recognizes students who maintain a strong academic record throughout their undergraduate studies and challenges them to live up to the demands of 1, using logos wisely and effectively, 2, sustaining a pathos for communication, and 3, projecting a strong ethos to both themselves and the organizations they represent. So briefly here today, we want to recognize our graduating LPH members for the class of 2023. I'm going to call their names, and they'll come up to accept their awards. Sophia Rojas. So many awards. Okay. And Julie Kalpin. All right. One more round of applause. All right. Now I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker, Dr. Megan Morrissey.
Don't get ahead of yourself. I'm introducing guys. Everybody wants to recognize you. Typically at our spring ceremony, we have our Alumnus of the Year offer a keynote address. This year, our Alumnus of the Year, Melissa Chowning, is not able to be with us, but sends her very best. And you may have met Melissa in your time at UNT as she is a frequent guest with Comm Future Pros and has mentored a number of students through the Communication Alumni Mentoring Program, or CAMP, all led by Dr. Brian Richardson. We look forward to having Melissa join us in a future time to receive her plaque and to give us the opportunity to sing her praises publicly. I'll also mention that our department bestows an annual Alumnus Pedagogue of the Year award to honor one of our alums who is out there in the world doing amazing work in their teaching and communication studies. Last year, this award went to Dr. Melody Soba. This year, our faculty was delighted to select Dr. Andrea Baldwin for this honor and have been thrilled to see the incredible contributions that Dr. Baldwin has made in our field as she has traversed the landscape of teaching in higher education. Dr. Baldwin is the very first performance studies faculty member to be hired at the University of Houston Clear Lake, and she is building quite the black box in that space. And I just want to say we will also be inviting her back at some point to really recognize her and sing her praises because she's an amazing force. So now, I will introduce the person who will be offering our keynote address today, Dr. Megan Morrissey. year has been an incredible year of accolades, not only for our students, which we're going to hear about in just a few minutes, but also for our Comm faculty. In addition to our master's program being named the top master's program by the National Communication Association in 2022, our faculty, yes. Our faculty also received some pretty big honors this year. Dr. Brian Richardson was honored with the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences Award for Excellence in Graduate Teaching, in addition to the university-wide Euless and Vera Knight Faculty Mentor Award. Dr. Joe McGlynn was named a University Distinguished Professor. Dr. Karen Anderson Lane received the UNT President's Council Service Award. Was a finalist for the third time in 3 years for the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences Award for undergraduate teaching, in addition to being UNT's sole nominee for the prestigious statewide Minnie Stevens Piper Teaching Award, and hopefully we'll hear soon that she is one of the winners of that award, but not yet. I do wish to offer just a few observations about Dr. Morrissey before she offers her own words today, and yes, we're all just saying nice things about each other. Come on up and join the other people in the room. We first interviewed Dr. Morrissey in 2013, back when we were all starting to learn how to use video conferencing, and well before any of us had ever heard of Zoom. After we'd signed off on our first interview with Dr. Morrissey, one member of the search committee, Dr. Justin Trudeau, giggled and said, "Her smile is just so infectious." Here we are, a decade later, and to be sure, Dr. Morrissey's smile, her energy, her teaching are all just so infectious indeed. I know many of you have had the honor of taking classes with her or otherwise being mentored by Dr. Morrissey. And in a department of faculty who tend to receive pretty high scores in their evaluations that students complete at the end of the year, Dr. Morrissey consistently scores at the very top. Beyond the numbers, though, the commentary that students mention about her always stand as important reminders of why we're in the business that we're in. Dr. Morrissey sees her students, and just as importantly, sees herself in her students. She relates to them, to you, in a way that reminds our students that they have lived experiences that matter and that they have meaningful insights to contribute to class discussions. Teaching classes that center difficult topics including race and sexuality and gender and political change, Dr. Morrissey does not shy away from evidence-based teaching, even in a political climate that might otherwise attempt to instill a chilling effect on academic discussions about such important topics. In addition to her role in UNTCOMM, Dr. Morrissey has recently taken on the director position within UNT Women and Gender Studies, and we appreciate their community who's here today too, where she's not surprisingly growing a robust community, one conversation at a time. As one student reflected about a course with Dr. Morrissey, this was literally the best class I've ever taken at UNT. And it wasn't even Cynthia. Not only was it intellectually stimulating, but it forced you to connect the concepts to yourself and to the world around you in a way that a lot of classes don't do. Every day, I knew I would leave the class having learned something, and I knew it was something I could apply to other classes and to my life. And I'll end with just one final student comment, who summed up perfectly their evaluation of Dr. Morrissey. "You are honestly one of the best professors, and I really don't know how you can improve the class. You are so accommodating and willing to do anything to help your students succeed. Thank you so much for all you do for each and every one of your students. You are the type of professor that will always make a difference in your students' lives." So with that, I will hand the program over to Dr. Morrissey, who will share her keynote address.
It's quite an introduction. Well, thank you all for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you tonight. My personal and professional life has revolved around graduation ceremonies for as long as I can remember, and I so appreciate the ways they offer opportunities for reflection and joyful opportunities to celebrate. Starting my career in education almost happened by accident. Months after being asked to deliver a speech at my department's graduation ceremony as a graduating senior, I found myself interviewing at a local high school for an open position as a Spanish language teacher. My grandmother always told me that I was a good public speaker because I was so loud, and she insisted that I would make a good teacher or a lawyer someday. With no interest in attending law school and aware that the city that I lived in had a desperate teacher shortage, I thought that I would give teaching a try. To my surprise, I was hired, and even more to my surprise, I needed to welcome my students in only 4 days. Think about that. It's worth pointing out that even though I majored in Spanish, communication studies, and English in college, I had never taken an education class, and certainly did not know what pedagogy meant. It means the study and practice of teaching, by the way. But at that time, the state of North Carolina would hire people who had content area expertise in the subjects that they needed taught, and would then require that folks attend a teaching licensure program to get certified within the first few years of employment. So that's what I did, and I did it for 4 years. In spite of my limited teaching background, I was energetic, enthusiastic, and determined. As I began the task of turning a space that had been used as a storage room into a classroom over the weekend before classes started, I tried to imagine what in the world I was going to do when the students arrived on Monday and looked at me to be their teacher. I had just been in the classroom sitting where you all were only months before that, weeks before that. The school that I was teaching at, Smith High School, was one of the most under-resourced schools in the state of North Carolina. The student population came from all over the world, 44 different countries, and served many of the city's lowest income neighborhoods. There were no resources to get my classroom set up. There was no teacher training to attend. There was no one to even help move furniture. In spite of all of this, I needed to be ready when the first bell rang to start classes on Monday. I had no idea what I was doing, but I had to jump in, so I did. And I knew that my communication studies degree trained me in public speaking. So I leaned into what I learned in those classes, and you know what? It worked really well. I had a message every day, whether it was to teach vocabulary to name items in the house, or to help students learn to conjugate verbs. And I needed to find the best way to communicate that message to my audience, who in this case just happened to be rooms of freshmen through seniors. It was, in all sincerity, my degree in communication studies that made this first job in education doable. And it's been the thing that's always informed the way that I think about teaching from that moment forward. Sure, teaching happens in the classroom. That's where it started for me. But it happens in so many other ways too. As communicators trained in the practices of critical thinking, speaking, and listening, we are all well equipped to lead and serve our communities, to teach people about different ways to see the world and to understand their circumstances. Sitting in my classes as an undergraduate student, I didn't know how my communication degree would be useful, but I did know that the skills I was learning in those classes would only make me better at whatever I chose to do, and that has been true throughout my career. I imagine many of you have had similar experiences. Now with a master's and a PhD in communication studies, I'm still discovering all the ways that my training sets me up for the opportunities that present themselves. And while I couldn't connect the dots then, I was able to start doing so when I took my first job teaching. Whether it's the confidence to speak in public, the ability to think critically about information you receive, the capacity to problem solve, or the insight to manage interpersonal relationships, your communication studies degree has prepared you. You've likely already applied much of what you've learned to manage a conflict or to navigate a complicated conversation. Maybe you've used what you've learned to craft an argument about your convictions or to persuade someone to see a situation differently, or to teach someone to see something new. All of these skills are important, but carry with them an immense responsibility in the world that we're living in today. The past 3 years, nearly all of your undergraduate career or the entirety of your graduate education, we've been challenged by a global pandemic that has torn at the social fabrics that cohere our communities. We've witnessed violence upon violence, symbolic and material. We've lost so much personally and as a community. It has at times been hard to glimpse what's going on around us for fear that it might derail us. I've had many of you in my classes over the years, witnessed some of your struggles and your successes, watched you rise to the challenges that were presented, and been privileged to sit with you as you discover new things about yourselves and wrestled with letting go of old ideas that no longer served you. Because of, not in spite of this, your success now is all the more extraordinary. The world needs you and all of the skills and insights that you've honed while working on your degree, especially now, especially in this tumultuous cultural and political climate. As you prepare to enter this next stage of your life, remember the lessons from your communication studies classes. Slow down, think, take a step back, craft persuasive arguments, and then be courageous, be convicted, be compassionate, and be change makers. The world you walk into as graduates or as masters of communication is in many ways different than the world we knew when you started college. It's certainly different than the educational environment I stepped into 17 years ago. If you can try to imagine this, I was still teaching with an overhead projector, which is hard to believe, right? And a chalkboard that a mouse ran across one day as I was teaching. The future that's on the horizon is being defined every day in small but significant ways by the choices that you make and the actions that you take. Be courageous, be convicted, be compassionate when you make those choices and take those actions, and be change makers. You're more equipped than many to consider the magnitude of seemingly insignificant choices and to imagine and build the worlds that you want to be a part of. You will not use your communication studies degree in the same way as others, in the same way that I did. And this is one of the greatest things about this expertise. You don't need to do the same thing as everybody else. You will, instead, I want to challenge you to think about how this degree equips you to boldly assert your individuality, how you can use it to practice kindness, to advocate for justice, and to insist on communities that can better serve all among us. If teaching has taught me anything, it is that I will always be learning, and I have learned from you, as others around you will learn from you. Your communication degree ensures you are and will continue to be trusted friends, dynamic colleagues, discerning supervisors, and hopefully compassionate educators, whether in the classroom or beyond it. Congratulations on your graduation. We're so proud to sit here on the stage in front of y'all today. Now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mark Leviachek and Dr. Brian Lane to do the awards.
Good evening. One of the great pleasures of the spring commencement ceremonies is in addition to recognizing our graduates at both the undergraduate and graduate level, we also have a series of awards that are given. What you're about to hear are recognitions of not just an individual semester, or not just a year, but an entire career in many cases of work. Each of these awards that you're about to hear is selected by the department. In some cases, students have to submit work that has to be competitively reviewed. So these are really a recognition of a lot of different things that are going on. So I'd like to start by noticing our undergraduate awards. We're going to begin with our Outstanding Achievement in College Speech and Debate, which goes to Holden Bukowski. Holden could not be here to join us. I also want to recognize the outstanding performance by an undergraduate student, Jada Hayes. We also recognize our outstanding undergraduate researcher, Yesenia Hernandez.
Next, we recognize our outstanding undergraduate mentor, Sophia Rojas. Our next award has two winners. The Outstanding Service by an undergraduate in Communication Studies goes to Macaulay Duck and Gabby Locke. And the final award for Outstanding Undergraduate Student in Communication goes to Jana Sabri. You could not be here with us.
Next, we're going to turn the award process over to Dr. Joe Glenn and Dr. Justin Trudeau.
Hello, Dr. Trudeau and I are here to welcome the Graduate Teaching Service and Performance Awards. And as Dr. Lane mentioned, this is such a fun time as being the awards chair. It's a lot of evaluations and nominations, late nights, and this is the benefit to see the smiling faces of people who win these awards. First, we'd like to announce Outstanding Teaching by a graduate student goes to Trevor Holcomb. Our outstanding performance by a graduate student goes to Andrew Ho. Andrew can't be here to join us, so Marcel Trudeau will come up and take it on his behalf. It's a pleasure to be a father. I'll take it. The Ted Colson Award for Excellence in Performance Study goes to Bethany Farmer. Outstanding service by a graduate student in communication studies goes to Cynthia Odetta. The outstanding graduate student in communication studies goes to Itzel. We'd like to call to the stage Dr. Sasha Sanders. Dr. Sanders and I will be presenting the awards for outstanding accomplishment in graduate degree completion. The first award goes to the 2023 Comprehensive Exam of the Year, goes to
Jonathan Jensen.
Okay, our next award is for the internships of the year, and it's going to two people. Our first one is
Cynthia Oliveros.
and our second one is
Chrissy Stevenson.
I'm sorry, God. This is my girl. Christy is so amazing, right? And got another award for Scholarly Project of the Year for a paper that she wrote in my class, Music and Autoethnography as Self-Therapy, a narration of the hidden self. Also was awarded top debut paper in performance studies at Western State Communications.
Thank y'all so much.
We would now like to call Dr. Erin O'Connor for the recognition of graduating seniors.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Am I projecting enough? Okay. It is my honor that I'm going to, in a minute, call up all of our graduating undergrads. I'm going to call you, I think, according to alphabetical, alphabetized last names, and we are going to have you shake my hand, and then you get a chance to shake the hands, or the faculty, all a chance to shake your hands and say congratulations to you personally. Y'all, for the parents and family and friends and loved ones who are here, thank you for coming. I'm the professor who gets to do advising with these lovely people to help make sure that they get through all of the requirements and all of the not so fun side of things sometimes. But I also teach their research class that they take right in the middle the notorious Comm 3010. And this is really this is a really fun moment for me because I get the best seat in the house compared to all these folks. I get to see these amazing people go from kind of bumbling underclass people to scholars, blossoming scholars, and it is absolutely true. So it's always such a pleasure and such an amazing thing to see y'all grow. So without further ado, I'm going to share some information about each one of them, and then when I say your name, come on up and come on down the line. Zoe Brooks, you are last to arrive. Zoe Brooks' pronoun she, her, hers. She's going to give a shout out to all my friends, family, most importantly, my amazing professors that have supported me, pushed me to be my best self. She's going to miss some things about UNT, the ability to be herself and not be judged. She loves how much Comm helps feel like a family, and she'll cherish some memories, especially in the Black Box Theater. As a first-generation college student, she is happy to be here today, to see this day. I am the first to graduate in my family of what I am as many other people. Thank you, Dr. Ink, O'Connor, McGlynn, Richards, and Trudeau. Fun for teaching me to be a better. Macy would like to give a shout out to Mom and Dad. They are so supportive and loving. Dealt with my life changes that occurred every week. The thing she's going to miss the most is the professors at here, and wants to say thank you to the Comm department for being the best major, filled with all the best people at UNT. Yes!